Hello and welcome to this guide to all critical engagements in the Bozjan Southern Front. In this guide we'll only be going over the specific mechanics of each of the bosses that you need to know to stay alive and avoid taking vulnerability stacks. If you're looking for some info on a specific critical engagement, there will be timestamps in the description to each of the 12 fights. So without further ado, let's get started. Kill it with fire. Here we're fighting a very sad Mandragora with a bandage on his or her back. Budbutt is the tank buster. Dead Leaves. This splits the arena into 4 quadrants. Stand in one of these to get that color's debuff. When the boss splits the arena again, make certain to stand in the other color to switch debuffs. Keep switching whenever these zones show up again. Do not stand in the red. Red means you're dead. Harvest Festival spawns 3 rotten Mandragoras around the edge of the arena that will try their best to display you their affection by throwing hearts towards you inside the arena. Dodge these hearts like my college love dodged my advances. Please be aware that if these are touched, they do explode in an AoE. And that's really it for this guy. Moving on. The Baying of the Hounds. A 3-headed dog with 3 mechanics to look out for. Also, Hell's Claw is the tank buster. Void Tornado is area damage that originates from the center of the arena and reduces your HP to single digits. This appears to either hit a certain number of players or is based on the distance from the center. To be safe, be as far from the center as possible to avoid the damage. Lava Spit spawns 3 fireballs. You'll notice these fireballs begin to spin in a certain direction. Do not be in front of these fireballs that are spinning because they will be zipping through the arena in that direction. The boss can spawn up to 6 fireballs but will spawn 3 at a time, and the first 3 will always go off first, then the next 3. Lastly, there's Hell Pounce, where the boss will jump to one side of the arena and then always jump across to the opposite side. Don't get hit by these jumps. From here, they'll either cast Dragon's Breath, 2 large thunder AoEs on the side, or Lion's Breath, where he spits hot fire down the middle of the arena. Just look at the heads and dodge appropriately. And that's all the tricks this puppy can do. Vigil for the Lost, the AoE master himself who paints the arena orange. Crippling Blow is the tank buster. Area Bombardment will spawn towers that require at least 1 person to soak it. And from here it's just dodge, dodge, dodge. At one point he'll cast Tail Missile and cover nearly all of the arena besides a quarter moon on the side. Move into this area while dodging other AoEs. Do note you've got plenty of time to move here from the center of the arena. Get hit by none of these mechanics and you'll have a chance to be selected for the duel against Gabriel out of like 18 other people. Shadow of Death's Hand. Kill the Beastmaster first, as he will continuously heal the burb. All notable mechanics come from the burb, so keep an eye on his casts. Hardbeak is the tank buster from the burb. Broadside Barrage is a massive column of pain that will effectively cover the entire direction the burb is facing. To avoid, stand behind the burb. North Wind, East Wind, West Wind and South Wind is damage and knockback that originates from the called direction. Go to the side of the arena being called to avoid being knocked back into the danger zone. You can also use knockback prevention to avoid this. There will also be a whirlwind just hanging about the arena after the burb casts its attack. It'll just sit around a bit before disappearing. Don't touch it. The Final Furlong. What a lovely creature. Stab is the very obvious tank buster. Taloned Wings, doesn't matter. Just look at the boss. You'll see this slight purple haze from the side he will be casting first. Avoid this side, then immediately move into it after the first cast to avoid the next. If you really want a name to remember, just remember Taloned Wings AoEs go side, then back front. Grasping Rancor places hands on a select number of people. If you are tethered, looking away from the hand will cause it to move towards you, and the tether will go purple. Looking at the hand will freeze it, and the tether will go white. You'll want to look away from the hand until it has moved into the blue AoE, which always spawns in the center of the arena. Then look towards the hand to freeze it into place, so that when the blue AoE goes off, it is killed. If you don't get a hand, just keep DPSing the boss. A nice side note, standing in the unicorn's smaller blue AoE gives you a damage buff. The hunt for Red Choctober. Everyone's favorite critical engagement. Choco Slash is the tank buster. Choco Meteor Strike. Simply move out of the center orange AoE zone. When this disappears, move back into the middle area to avoid the exoflares moving down the sides of the arena. And when they're good and gone, move back out to soak a tower. For Choco Meteor Rain, move to the Red Chocobo that is furthest from the two first meteor drops. From here, just keep moving over to the next Chocobo to stay nice and safe under its fluffy feathers, till the meteors stop dropping. You can also use Lost Reflect here to get some more of that sweet uptime. Choco Meteor Stream, the big one. Move to any of the safe zones created by the plus growing through the center of the arena. Now watch the direction the red zone will be rotating. Once the orange plus shows up again, move towards where the red zone currently is, wait for it to go off, then move into that area. From here, just dodge the AoEs that spawn under players, keep an eye on where the red zone is, and as soon as the orange plus shows up, you'll know where the safe zone is. Do note, for this mechanic you can use Lost Reflect to avoid all damage from the red meteor drops, but you will still take a vulnerability stack if you do this. So instead, get hit by none of these and you'll have a chance to be selected for the duel. The Fires of War. Lots of ads means lots of killing. Now, there's nothing here that isn't obvious. The most difficult part is actually getting enough people in this critical engagement to do it, since it always spawns at the same time Patriot Games spawns. I guess there is Too Hot to Handle. You'll want to DPS down the little fireball that is furthest from boss to create a safe zone. Beyond that, it's just soak stack up markers, towers, and dodge telegraph damage zone. Standard stuff this fight. Patriot Games. Spawns off the Fire and War and seems to be far more popular. Plasma Gun is the tank buster. Electrochemical Transfer will tether the boss to 3 of his turrets. He'll be tethered to one of them twice. Take note on how many lights are on each of the turrets. When 2 lights are on, this set of turrets will fire. They'll also briefly glow before firing, giving an ample grace period for movement. Lightning Rod will spawn 3 landmines around the arena that will turn invisible then explode. Make certain someone, preferably a tank with cooldowns, but don't get your hopes up, run over these landmines to prevent widespread pain and death. And that's it. Nice and simple. Trampled under Hoof. Another rarely done fight due to always spawning with the where Strode the Behemoth critical engagement. Bullhorn is the tank buster. Shifting Gaze will tether the boss to 1 or more of the orbs around the arena. These will then begin to cast a gaze attack. Look away from them to avoid. However, take note if the boss is also casting Demon Eye at this time. If the boss is casting, you have to look at the gaze attack from the edge of the arena first to intentionally get hit and receive the Pale of Darkness debuff. After this, the boss will gaze his Demon Eye attack and will remove the debuff instead of petrifying you. This boss will also spawn ads, golems and some wee tiny galleons. Kill these golems as they do quite a nice chunk of AoE damage to everyone. Oh, also, there will be orbs that spawn on some players inside the arena. Move away from these, as they will pulsate damage around them. Metal Fox Chaos. The Kojima boss fight. Probably not actually related, but it'll always be in my heart. This guy has 3 mechanics. During Diffracted Laser, the turrets will line up next to each other on 3 sides of the arena. The boss will then cast a massive cleave towards one set of lasers. After the cleave, these lasers will go off, triggering the next set, then triggering the final set. Just run in the firing direction of the lasers to avoid. During Laser Shower, the turrets will move to opposite sides of the arena, creating a nice little zigzag pattern. The boss will then drop a bunch of AoEs on one side of the arena, hitting and activating all the turrets on the side. Dodge these shots and move into the attack path, as the lasers from the other side will be firing shortly. Finally, during Satellite Laser, the turrets will move to 2 adjacent sides of the arena. Find an area where you will not be hit by any turrets. When the boss finishes his casts, all the turrets will fire at once. Avoid all these and get a chance to be selected for the duel against the Inferno. Rise of the Robots. Everyone's favorite spinning robot. He has 2 mechanics, but only does one of these mechanics once. Basic training / training. It's spinny time! But beware, as this robot has been to Taco Bell recently and will be firing from both ends.
That's called a kiss from the lips that never smile.
Stand on his side to avoid his blasts and then move into the direction he indicated. Order, it's math time! Take note of your HP, this is your starting number. At the same time, take note of what directional debuff the boss has placed on you. Your character will be forced to move into this direction relative to which direction your character was facing at the time. The boss will also be asking you a very simple math question at this time. You have to make certain that your HP answers this math question by aiming your character towards one of the 4 numbered zones around the arena. The number shown in this zone will be added to your HP total so that your HP can answer the question. The force march distance is pretty much perfect from the boss's hitbox. If your number already answers the boss's question, you can avoid all 4 of the numbered AoE zones around the boss and just keep hitting him. After 2 of these questions, your HP will be returned to normal. Make sure you have some healing at this time, as he will immediately start casting Incinerate, which is a raid-wide AoE. After doing this math once, the boss will be casting Train and Incinerate over and over and over until you defeat him. Where's Strode the Behemoth? This one always spawns at the same time as the Trampled under Hoof critical engagement, but good job, you chose the right one, as this one is quite a lot more popular to do. Wildhorn is the tank buster. Do note this one is a cleave, so point this away from everyone. When Blazing Meteor is being cast, a giant meatball of death will be summoned in the center of the arena. Line of sight this problem by standing behind a Behemoth corpse to prevent your reunion with the ground. Do note that your position is calculated the second the cast ends, so if you're not behind a Behemoth corpse at this point, you're already dead.
お前はもう死んでいる。何?
Zombie Bile. Green goo will splash the arena. 3 of these will land on Behemoth corpses and bring them back to life. Look at what direction these Behemoths are facing, as they will cast a massive cone of damage in front of them, and then return to being dead. Zombie Breath. A thin cleave in front of the big Behemoth that will reanimate any Behemoth and kill any player hit. Avoid this, and avoid being in front of any reanimated Behemoths. And that's it. That's all the critical engagements in the Bozjan Southern Front. I hope you found this helpful, and armed with a little bit more knowledge, we'll go smash those fights. Thanks for watching. So goodbye then, friends, and have a great day.